Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Rando Geek. So we have an interesting article here coming from the T-Mobile report, and it is regarding T-Mobile and their relationship with Arch Telecom. So we've talked about Arch Telecom before in previous videos. You know, they're this shady third-party retailer that uses T-Mobile to basically sell plans, T-Mobile plans, postpaid, prepaid, phones, accessories, all provided through T-Mobile with the face disguise as T-Mobile, right? They're third-party authorized retailers. You can always tell the difference because when you go into an official T-Mobile store, they're usually dressed in T-Mobile clothing. When you go to one of these retailers, they're usually wearing sweatpants and sweatshirt. They just don't even look really professional. Sometimes they're very nice and helpful, so not all third-party vendors are like this. But you can definitely tell there's a difference between an official T-Mobile store and a third-party retailer. Sometimes the signs on the stores don't even say authorized retailer. It might just say T-Mobile. So if you're not paying attention, you might think you're at an official T-Mobile store. Anyway, what we're talking about here is the fact that Arch Telecom has been doing tons of shady practices. And the real lesson here is that you have to be careful when you go to third-party vendors because it looks like all bets are off. And for many customers, they go to these third-party vendors just to pay their bill. And sometimes when you go to pay your bill, you may get something else that you don't want, but you're not aware of it. Or maybe you think you're getting something that you do want, but you're getting a bunch of things that you don't want, which can ultimately come back to haunt you, if not today, then tomorrow. And we'll talk about that now. So here's what's going on. So a bunch of stuff here. They've been doing this for a while. T-Mobile has spoken to them, put them on notice. Looks like they haven't learned any lessons. I'm not even sure how they're still able to operate with this kind of behavior. But here's what's going on. There's a letter that Arch Telecom supposedly sent to their employees and staff saying that, you guys got to do better. This, and that. The customer comes first. And the reason why they're being told this is tons of shady practices. Now, there's a couple of things that some whistleblowers had released to the T-Mobile report, which is why they have all this information. And they're saying that they honestly believe this to be 100% true. Whatever they're being told, they have some other ways of kind of verifying this, which they can't share. There's recordings, but they're saying that in these recordings, it's pretty believable. So the letter basically, like I said, goes on to try to reason with their employees, tell them to do things better and not to perform this way. All right. So they're saying that the first poor practice or, sneaky thing that they've been doing is bundles. All right. So they're saying in a private voice recording shared with the mobile report, a manager in Arch Telecom that runs a T-Mobile store was detailing a new way to sell T-Mobile home internet. They're saying that when bundled for T-Mobile home internet, employees were told to offer the bundle price as home internet service. So essentially, when selling just the home internet, the employee is actually selling home internet bundled with other things the customer doesn't want while maintaining the same price. So they're saying that this contradicts what Arch Telecom has made clear to their employees back in July. So basically, there was this letter back in July, like I said, telling employees that they got to do better. And that is because prior to July, there was this big thing which T-Mobile got on them and told them, you guys got to do better. So after that letter, we're starting to see sneaking with the bundles. That's the first thing we're talking about here. So why is this a problem? Well, the bundle here works that T-Mobile home internet is typically $70 per month. If you have a voice line, the service will get reduced down to $50 per month. Of course, the cheapest talk and text only line is $20 per month. So they're saying anytime a customer wants T-Mobile home internet, the salesperson is also adding a voice line, whether you know it or not. And they're saying the recording was also detailing how a tablet plan also fits into the deal, but they said that they confirmed via a corporate retail manager that the math was off a bit on that. The manager in the recording was misrepresenting the monthly cost, effectively misleading sales teams to lie to customers for more added services. So what is the problem with this? Well, if you are here to get home internet service and you want to save money, that's good, right? But they're now adding a voice line. And, the problem with that is you don't know you have that voice line. And if you're someone that never checks your bill or you get everything sent automated and you're not paying attention to it, let's say T-Mobile changes its terms in a year and no longer wants to include that voice line as part of the home internet discount. You still have that voice line. You're going to be paying for a voice line at whatever price it is at that time, and you're not even going to know it. And don't think necessarily that it'll just get cut off. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so let's say it does. Maybe it takes 2 months. Now you owe T-Mobile, I don't know, maybe $100, depending on how much the voice line is. Maybe it's $200. You don't pay that bill. You don't even know that that bill exists. This could, result in taxes being added to it. And in worst cases, maybe sent to a collection agency, which can ultimately hurt your credit. So yes, that's taking it to a severe level. It might get stopped before any of that happens. You might find out before any of that happens. But this is ultimately what could happen. All because someone just wants to get a sale. So this is the issue with it. You see what I mean? Like, these are things that can happen and have happened to people. These things have happened. They've been charged. It's been sent to collection agencies. It's been headaches, all because of just a silly employee who was being told by their manager, by the way, to do these types of things. All right. So the next trick is exploit a T-Mobile $5 tablet deal. They're saying that they were able to confirm other shady sales tactics via internal communications, that not only is Arch Telecom promoting an aggressive bundle scheme with home internet, they're exploiting what should be customer value and savings on tablets plans. So basically there's screenshots of a text back and forth. I won't get into all that, but basically they're saying that terminology was used next tab. They're saying that this is in reference to T-Mobile offering connected devices for just $5 per month when on the Go 5G Next plan. Typically, on other plans, a tablet on promotion will require a 5 gigabyte data plan, which comes to $20 per month with autopay. They're saying that Arch Telecom has picked up on the fact that they can offer 4 tablets on the Go 5G Next plan for $5 per month per plan for the same price. Instead of what should be leveraged as customer value, they're saying it's instead going right into the pockets of Arch Telecom. So they're stealing now from customers. They're saying market directors are proactively pushing their leaders to push tablets with extreme daily goals in the hundreds. The only way stores can succeed with unreasonable goals is to bundle multiple tablet lines together. So they're saying, of course, how has T-Mobile not caught this route? So they're saying T-Mobile has a way to find out. They're saying T-Mobile seeks fraudulent activity on new accounts through the Neon report. Neon means no equipment on network and aims to catch when a line is sold that has no network usage. It would be flagged as a dummy or unneeded line, aka a fraudulently added line. Stores, including Arch Telecom, aren't paid for those lines that show up on the Neon report. But they're saying, unfortunately, for some reason, the tool is not monitoring the specific $5 tablet lines. It's unclear if this was intentional on T-Mobile's part or a mistake. They're saying that Arch was quick to notice, and as long as T-Mobile's eyes are turned away, they're taking advantage of this fluke. So, interesting stuff here. And there's more stuff here, but the moral of this story here is, this is a poor reflection on T-Mobile. And ultimately, this is going to result in a limit at some point, I would think, of how many third-party retailers T-Mobile is going to be doing business with. This is also a lesson that if you can avoid third-party retailers for anything major, do so. go into an official T-Mobile store because these guys, they have their own rules. Even though you ever notice that, like, if you go to T-Mobile's website and you see a deal and you go into a third-party vendor, they don't have that deal. First off, they probably don't even have, like, say, a phone or whatnot that you want, as where an official T-Mobile store does. And they also don't honor the practices that an official T-Mobile store would. So for the most part, these third-party vendors aren't even really that useful. Sometimes they have good deals going on, most of the time not. They're good if you're having a problem with service. They can help you activate it. They're good if you need a phone case. They're good if you need to pay a bill. That's really about it. Like any real business setting up, you can do it online, right? That's the best way. Don't even deal with a rep. Don't even educate yourself on how to do it. This way, you can control the narrative. You can control what's going on, because I'm sorry to say, like, even going to an official T-Mobile store, these reps just don't care, right? They just do whatever they want. They're not paying attention. Retail is a miserable business. You know, these guys feel pressured. They feel they feel overwhelmed, undervalued, right? They never feel like they're getting paid enough. They never feel like they're getting anything. Their managers are usually, too busy trying to meet sales goals for themselves, to make themselves look good. And they're basically just making jerks out of their employees. This is not always the case, but retail is a notorious business for this type of behavior and making employees feel pretty much not valued. And it's a lot of stress for people that work there who are just trying to make a living, trying to do something good with their lives. And they're just being, thrown in the fire here to try to sell things to customers. That's why we've heard about, like, employees just walking off and leaving. Like, it's a lot of stress. Like some people, honestly, they feel bad about it. They really don't want to sell something that they don't believe has a value. Like, how are you going to try to sell something? How are you going to try to sell a tablet line or sneak something in to somebody who's maybe 75 years old, who doesn't even know how to use a tablet? Like, some people feel bad about that. Some will do it with the quickness. They don't care. They'll get their, $10 goal money and buy a sandwich and not even think about it. But there are people that will feel bad about that, guilty. And those are the people that ultimately leave, right? This company is very shady. T-Mobile is going to regret ignoring this type of behavior if they are, because this is a reflection on their name and their brand. And when lawsuits happen, they're going to pay these fines. Yes, Arch Telecom will ultimately be shut down and out of business. But when all is said and done, these lawsuits, these hefty $1 million lawsuits that can come of this type of behavior, if customers catch it and report it, if there's a problem, like I said, if someone's credit gets demolished because of this, if there's a lot of financial stress that happens to a person because of unpaid bills that they're not aware that they have and now liable, or whatever the situation is, T-Mobile will hear about it in court. And like I said, hefty fines in the millions. And it's their fault. They need to be more careful who they put in charge of selling their products. That's it. I mean, you have to do it. And us as customers, we have to be a little careful too. We shouldn't trust third-party vendors to do too much. I know it's hard because sometimes there are deals. Sometimes there are good deals at these vendors that T-Mobile won't honor. But that's why, I don't know, we have to change the way we do business a little bit. Maybe try to buy stuff online. Like, for me, there's so many nice phones out there. Like I got to be honest, the S24 Ultra, that's a beautiful phone, right? But it's a lot of money. And for me, I like to buy my phones outright because I don't like being committed to plans. Because if I decide I no longer want that service, I take my phone to any carrier that I want. So because of that, I don't have the best phone on the market, but I get phones that I like, that suit my needs, that are almost just as good, but they're like not even half the price of what that phone, the S24 Ultra, would be. So the lesson for me is that I don't want to commit or put myself in that stressful situation with these carriers because, hey, I've done that before. Back before, this whole uncarrier thing, I had to finance phones through carriers. I had to pay a lot of money for my phone, just like everybody else. But that was because I had to do that, right? Those were the way things were then. You couldn't do it any other way. We didn't have the freedom to buy an unlocked phone and bring it to a carrier. That was not in the cards yet. But once the rules changed, well, the way I did it changed too. Now I take my phone and go to whoever I want, and that's it. I turn off auto pay, and guess what? Bill don't get paid, number gets cut, or I transfer it out. That's it. It's beautiful. No commitment. And I rock whatever phone I want to rock. Like I said, you got to buy it outright. That means ultimately I can't have maybe the best phone on the market, but it's better than being locked in to a plan with a carrier that's going to rip me off and treat me like garbage, right? Sneak things into my plan without me being aware of it. No, not anymore. Not in 2024 going into 2025. That's not cool. That way of doing business is gone, buried, and I'm glad it is. For me anyway, it is. Like I don't even care. Like to me, a phone is a phone at the end of the day. They all do the same thing now. Pictures pretty much almost look just as good. Unless you're like a photographer, you don't need the best pictures. Unless you're like literally doing, all kinds of videography and photography with your phone. Most phones are very good. They're very similar. You don't have to have the top tier model. If you can afford it, if you can swing it and it's not damaging you, do it. By all means, it's good. If you can rock like that and it's okay, sure, to each his own. But for those that are like getting suckered into these types of situations, in this case, it's nobody's fault. Like you're going in for one thing and you don't know. And that's why this is dishonest. And yeah, I wish T-Mobile would do something about it, but it doesn't seem like they care too much. So I'm sure there's going to be follow-ups. If so, I'll definitely get back to you guys on it. This is a longer one. I haven't done a long one in a while, but these stories are interesting to me, how companies can get away with this. But it's also a lesson to be learned. Like don't let yourself get trapped. Avoid third-party retailers for the big things. Go in there if you have a little issue with your phone. They can take a look at it. A lot of times they're nice. They'll help you. But I'm not locking myself into service with those guys. Like I do it online, or I'll go to an official T-Mobile store, because the rules don't apply the same way with third party. They can kind of get away with it because they're their own company. They're their own company. They have their own protection as a company. And a lot of the times you got to deal with them directly if there's an issue. T-Mobile doesn't really get involved too much, except when someone sues T-Mobile directly. Then it's like, but there's this whole thing that you have to go through. And is it really worth all that? At the end of the day, like to stress yourself out over this when you can just simply just dodge the whole thing. Just go to an official store, T-Mobile store, do it online, maybe get a little bit less expensive phone, whatever it is you got to do to avoid companies like Arch Telecom giving it to you, Anyway, that's my 2 cents on this. As always, thank you guys for stopping by and watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.